I'm Brandon.
And I'm Brandon.
And I'm Kamron from Sutro Sidetalk.
Shut up, no one cares.
And welcome. Oh gosh. Oh, welcome to our Good Morning edition and edition.
Yeah, it's the morning. You can tell.
A Good Morning edition of the Eisner Award nominations. Welcome, gentlemen. So Today we're gonna go through the 2021 Eisner Awards, and you know what? There's so much on these lists that we just have not gotten to read, and I know a lot of them are on our reading pile, our stack, and a lot of them we just haven't had the chance to pick up and check out. But because of that, we're going to choose the people we think should win, along with the series that we actually really want to read out of each category. T'Challa, stop biting my foot.
And I'm very excited that Will Eisner's Contract with God should be winning every category.
Yes. Every year.
Every year.
It's just like given. God, I'm going to destroy my cat. Oh my gosh, he's just.
Do we know?
Hey, can you stop assaulting your animal, please?
Which comics has your cat chosen in these lists of nominees here?
T'Challa chooses anything he can kill, which is everything.
Okay.
And you, apparently.
And the host and all the nominees. Yeah, there's a handful of sections. We wanted to do this last year, but timing didn't work out, so we thought it'd be a good chance, and it adds to our reading list for the year too, so which is really exciting. A lot of cool stuff is on here that there's a reason why they get put on the Eisner list. It's the best of the comics out of the year. And I'm interested to see what you guys are going to pick as well. But to begin, we have Best Short Story. And a lot of these I haven't gotten a chance to check out because they're, not available, or you have to kind of like dig out and find them. The one that, we put the link below in the Eisner nomination so you guys could check this out too. But I won't read them all out. But there's a handful of these that are really great. And if you look at the ones by Chan Chao, how do you say this, Kamron?
Chan Chao.
Yeah, there's a reason why I asked Brandon. He was gonna say it the same way I said it. But this the Soft Lead story, I don't know if you guys gotta check this out, but it was a great little short story. That definitely has my vote, and for the winner for sure, because it was just a sweet little thing about like Superman basically saying Clark Kent would draw like a cat cartoon in the Daily Planet. And he was like, why does it matter? I'm Superman. I could be doing this and this and this. And he was saying, like, as an artist, like, it doesn't mean anything. It might just appeal to a handful of people. But, and Bruce was basically telling him, he's like, it's not about that. It's about, like, what it does for you and what your art does for you. You do so much for everyone else. This is something for you to enjoy and for you to take all these stress and pressures off. And I thought that was just, like, a great way to, like, exemplify, like, what it's like being a creator and an artist. Like, yeah, it's not, you have your stuff where that does make a difference, but sometimes you gotta just do something for yourself, and that's the most important thing you can do. So Soft Lead has my vote for winner, and I guess the one I'd want to read the most is, I don't know. Oh, there's a Detective Comics one on here too.
Yeah,
that one caught me off guard. Do you guys remember that one, The Rookie?
I'm actually looking at it right now to see which one it was.
I faintly remember that one.
It's the one with the female black cop, I believe. It just starts, and she's trying to, I guess, there was like other cops that are corrupt, and she's trying to like stay on the right path and stuff. And I believe Batman helps her through it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one. Okay, I remember it. Yeah,
that was a good one too. Yeah,
because that's part of the 1027, the 1027th issue.
Yeah, it was like that $10 issue.
Yeah, so there's like a bunch of short stories in there.
Yeah,
but I do remember this one. Yeah, because it's basically like The Outsiders.
Mm-hmm. I think. I mean, out of the list here, that's the only one I read. So yeah. I would by default have to go with that one. But looking at the others, they are honestly a lot of different creators that I've never potentially actually gone into their works before. So it leaves a lot to potentially check out. And I would say, like, I think the ones that standout probably is the one you just talked about, because now I know more about it than the others.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Soft Bleed. It's probably the one to check out. I'd probably also check out I Needed the Discounts, because that just sounds like an interesting title.
I was thinking the same thing as like if my one I want to read to follow up on. What about you, Brandon? How you feeling on this?
To be honest, with the short stories, I feel like I could read all of these if they're short stories, because with no context and just based off titles, I don't know which one I'd choose, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I Needed the Discounts has a title that's kind of intrigued me. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Yeah.
But I was double checking this because I don't think I've ever seen a Detective Comics book win an Eisner.
Especially a
trying to
short
read-
story. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was
Like,
trying to figure out which one this one is. It's not. I was mixing it up. It's not about like forming the outsiders. It's that year one kind of story. That's what it was. And when I read it, I thought it was good, but I guess I didn't think like best short story of the year. Good.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling like Eisner material about it. You know.
It
I mean,
didn't-
it's cool. It got nominated though.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily stick with you afterwards. A lot of them just kind of, you read them and you go, that was cool, and they just kind of get locked away after.
Yeah.
They don't.
A lot of those black and white stories and black, red, and blue and whatever super
but,
spin-offs.
I looked up like a synopsis and I was like, oh yeah, it's that year one type story. But as far as like the other ones, like I said, if they're short enough, I'd try to read them all. Because if they're anywhere around like 10 to 15 pages, then you could easily knock them out.
And then minutes, you could
Yeah.
pee and read it basically,
Peed.
Yeah, I found the soft lead one. That one looks interesting, at least with the art, and it does look like it's just Superman, pretty much.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy that one, Brandon. And there's a link to it. I think you'll really enjoy it. Let's move to best single issue. I really haven't checked out any of these. But you know what? You guys have been praising the other History of the DC Universe #1, or just that series in general.
Dude,
Like,
that is like, it's practically a novel at this point. Or
Yeah.
more like a novella. It's not a short story, but it's not a novel, so I'm gonna say novella at this point with the amount of words that it like are actually in it.
Ridley's
'Cause it
getting so
takes-
much work. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it takes like a good 40 minutes for me to fully consume like an issue of the other History of the DC Universe.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Because it's like full on paragraphs.
it
And
feels.
Giuseppe is a dope artist. He's been
Oh,
one
yeah.
of my favorites lately. Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels like it's that one book where I'm excited to read it, but I'm also like, oh shit, this, like, it's not like with the rest of the comics I got where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna knock these out. It's like, oh, this is gonna take some time. I gotta put the others aside because it's just gonna be this for tonight probably. Like, I'm not really getting through anything else, and it might actually take me a couple days if I'm like doing it at the end of the night right before I'm like gonna knock out or something.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it takes some time to get through that one.
Yeah.
Well,
But these other ones, I have no idea what these are.
No
The
clue.
Burning Hotels and Hedra and Sports is Hell. I got no clue. So this is, I was like, man, maybe I'm not reading all the right books apparently.
Right? Yeah. Well, there's so much out there though to keep up with. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's one of those things too. Yeah, I'd give the other History of the DC Universe my vote, and then I guess I'd really want to check out the Burning Hotels just by title and quick description look up right now.
I feel like
Those-
they include manga though in these now, because I've seen a couple names there that I know are like Japanese horror, and also Koyama Press. Is that?
I was about to say, yeah, I thought that press was a manga one. Let's find out real fast. Let's get some education for some people.
I'm looking it up right
comics, art books, and zines.
now. No, Toronto based.
Oh wow! Just by the name alone, I would have assumed, but that's why you don't assume.
The publisher is Annie Koyama. There's only like 4 people that work there.
Oh wow! So very independent in that case.
No,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, looking at it. Oh wow, they have very. I see Sports as Hell has a very interesting cover, where it's like a football player that looks like a demon practically. And And there's like a synopsis for it where it's like some wars are for religion, some are for political belief, but this one is for football. So it's like American football.
This is pretty cool. This all looks pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You know what? It looks fun. I really like the artwork for this. Very, very like organic. You're not trying to. What we've talked about when it comes to like DC artwork and modern comic book art. This is very, very just like loose and very artistic. I want to check out the Burning Hotels real fast.
Yeah, well, I'm checking out the Stanley's Ghost.
Ooh, this looks
Adventure
cool.
one. Oh, this is animals. Okay.
This makes you.
Where is
You know,
it?
like the artwork for the Burning Hotels right here. It's just like this is stuff like, okay, guys, we should just like draw ourselves and make a comic. Like that's how. As long as you have a good story, that's what matters. You know what I mean? As long as you're consistent, that's what books like this show.
Definitely.
I don't know, man. This art is definitely better than how I draw.
With time, Brandon. With time.
Yeah, a long time.
But cool stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, I would say other history of the DC universe. You guys have praised that. But I would love to check out Sports as Hell and the Burning Hotels, side by side with that.
Yeah, and I assume Stanley's thing, it must do something of significance because it's literally just like a kid's book with animal characters that look like a cartoon.
Ooh, I've heard of this one because you know what got my attention about it was this panel layout for the cover.
Wait. Can you go back to the team? Oh wait, no, it's just Jesse Lohengrin. Okay.
Yeah.
That actually looks like it reminds me a bit of heavy metal style, honestly.
I can agree with that totally. Echoes of 2001, Flash Gordon, Chris Ware, and Mobius. Ooh.
There you go. That's why the Mobius influence
So this
there.
looks dope too. It doesn't look like it has any words too. Just by the preview pages, looks like it's just artwork. So, I mean, if you could pull that off, that's a remarkable thing to do, especially even in a comic, to tell a fluid story just through images. Brilliant stuff, you know. So you know what? All of these are very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'd for sure though have to go with other history of DC Universe, but the one I'm probably interested in the most is the Sports as Hell and Hydra, probably.
Hydra,
Yeah.
Hydra and Burning Hotels for me, and other history. Obviously, I have to choose like three I haven't read. What's your Brandon? You chose what other history, and what's your follow up on that?
I'm gonna read Sports as Hell.
Nice.
Because it looks like it's critiquing sports. I could be wrong, but
Let's see.
yeah, it's kind of like the aftermath of like a team winning.
Yeah.
That's cool. After her city wins the Super Bowl for the first time, T is separated from her friend during a riot and joins a small clique fighting its way through armed groups of football fanatics to meet a star receiver that just might end the Civil War and become the city's new oppressive leader. Dope. And this cover is insane. Oh, it's not like gonna load, but cool stuff. Nice. Cool stuff. Definitely things to look into. Excited for that. Best Limited Series, Barbarian, Red Planet, Decorum by Jonathan Hickman, Far Sector, Strange Adventures, Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen, and We Live. I'm gonna say Strange Adventures has been great so far. Interesting stuff. And Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen was a fun book. Barbarian.
I read Far Sector.
How about that's the DC book too, right?
Yeah, it's Green Lantern.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I would have to say for this one, probably Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen. Like, Strange Adventures is great so far, but it doesn't hit that initial feeling that Mr. Miracle did.
Right? It's a lot slower of a build-up. Like, you literally... Tom King's books this year, honestly, all of them, I feel like you have to read them all together and not, like, individually almost.
I think...
Well, the pandemic didn't help because the first issue came out and then Strange Adventures was delayed.
Right? Yeah, huh?
Yeah, and I think also Mr. Miracle had the advantage of just being by itself, whereas you're having Strange Adventures simultaneously with Rorschach and Batman and Catwoman. And I'm not gonna lie, when I'm reading all those, especially, I think there was one week where all three came out together,
Yeah.
and I was reading them, and it felt like I had just read the same book 3 times. And I was like,
totally agree. Just like just different characters, you know what I mean? In this sense, yeah.
I'm gonna say Strange Adventures is a nice looking book, but it's not the best book there.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard a lot about Decorum, and I've been interested in that since it was first announced, but I haven't gotten to reading it. And then Brandon, you're a big Black Hammer fan. So have you checked out this series?
That's actually a spinoff I haven't read yet. I've read some of the other ones. Like I've read 2 or 3, like Doctor or Captain Cosmog or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Star. I forget the names right now, but I have not read that one yet because I fell off of the entire series at their certain point, and I've been buying the library editions to read it all. And the World of Black Hammer library editions have those in it.
Oh, cool. Ooh, that's super cool. I've seen this pop up on my feed a lot as of lately. So it sounds like a good book, and I've been wanting to dive into the Black Hammer universe, which I think we're going to cover some of it this year too. So it'd be cool stuff to like follow up on and see what dives in there. Far Sector I haven't checked out, but you guys have told me great stuff about it as well.
It's cool. It's worth checking out. I feel like I got to reread it. It kind of came out on like a random schedule, as far as I remember, at least.
And then We Live. This looks cool for sure.
Is it another post-apocalypse book?
Yeah, 2084. The world has changed. Racked by calamities and crawling with monsters, the last remaining humans face a dangerous existence. And now the Earth has been sent a message from the deepest reaches of space, a dark countdown to the extinction of all humanity. But there is hope. 5,000 children will be rescued by these mysterious message senders.
I guess they all play Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah,
and
right?
the winner is chosen to survive, most likely.
Seems cool. I don't know if I'd pick it for my winner or follow-up, but just because I've only read Strange Adventures, I'm gonna have to go with that. But follow-up,
say Jimmy Olsen.
Same. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Olsen.
I've only read the first issue of that. Yeah, it looked fun because it's a bunch of like mini story, like kind of like 5 or 6 stories in one book, right?
And they pretty much continue to cross through each issue, and
it's a Silver Age feel.
It works all the way from the beginning to the end. You're just like, what? Like, I can't believe they've done this, and I feel like it was the only comic I've ever seen that feels like, or at least recently, that feels just like a comedy practically. And it just works so well. Like, I would actually laugh out loud when reading this book because it's just so ridiculous and just a fun time.
Fraction's a great like comedic writer too, so I could see that.
Yeah. I think I'd want to check out though probably Far Sector, but that's just honestly, I would say Young Animal in general because I never really tackled it yet. So
okay,
I really want to tackle that entire imprint.
Yeah, that was part of the imprint I never jumped on.
As someone who read every single book as it came out, you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like I actually fell off when Far Sector came out because I was just kind of over Young Animal at that point. As hyped as I was about it,
I read everything. Everything.
It was we got to talk about
Cave Carson. I'm looking at you.
I'm assuming is that the one you guys were would say to skip? Is that why?
It visually and the name and the way it looked visually was better than the story of it.
I mean, the two you guys seemed, or at least the ones I kept hearing about, were Doom Patrol and Eternity Girl, right?
Oh, Eternity Girl was good.
Eternity Girl. Oh, and Bug.
Bug was great too. Yeah. Doom Patrol was all over the place. The delays really killed the hype for that.
Oh, that last issue is so pointless too.
Yeah, that was a mess.
Also, the infamous. I've heard a lot about the infamous Milk Wars.
That was a trip. We did an episode about that with when Casey was on the show about a year ago. It was interesting. It was definitely it's worth a read. I'd say. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest book, but it's a lot of fun. I would say that it's a lot of fun. Cool art in there for sure. Moving on to best new series. I feel like Brandon's read almost all of these. Black Widow by Kelly Thompson. I heard some great stuff about that. Crossover by Donny Cates. Department of Truth by James Tinian. Philadelphia. And We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Honestly, this is a hard pick. I feel like all these are great books.
Crossover is the one with that keeps changing the creative teams, right?
No, that's the Silver Coin.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I've been crossover. I'm going to go with crossover because it's the one I've dived into the most. I've heard great stuff about Philadelphia, so I think that and Department of Truth are my follow-ups.
I'm gonna say I'm just gonna go on a big guess here and just say We Only Find Them When They're Dead is gonna win.
Yeah. Ewing is killing it. He's been doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but crossover is great because it is a massive crossover that actually is.
Mm-hmm. Across the Image Comics line, right?
Yeah, and it breaks into Dark Horse, and it's very meta.
Oh, nice.
That sounds cool.
The last issue, especially.
Yeah, 1 through 6 is out. 7 comes out, or just came out too.
It already came out. It's the one with Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah, I got to read that one still. I'm excited.
The Department of Truth, I'm curious, but also I'm just at this point how is James Tinian doing all these books? Because he's got Batman, Joker, Something Is Killing the Children, and now that other book, the Cabin book.
One.
Yeah,
the horror one.
And now the Department of Truth. So it's at least 5 books.
He puts his effort into everything except Batman.
Damn.
I'm sorry, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Wonderful, sweet human being, but goddamn, I cannot handle Batman right now.
I haven't touched the new Batman series since we took that break. Since Reach Estate, I haven't picked up Batman.
I like the Scarecrow design. That's about it. I mean, it doesn't feel that eventful, I guess you could say.
Was it Jorge Jimenez? Is that the artist?
His art's fantastic. It's
that's
just
what got me to buy the book. You know what I mean? It's good stuff.
And it's when I say eventful, I don't mean I want an event to happen in it. I'm just I don't know. It just feels like it's setting up for future state stuff currently, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. He has so much out right now. I'll probably end up getting collected editions of a lot of these books.
I'm curious about the Black Widow run. If it's amazing. On there.
Brandon fucking praised it right when it came out. That's why I'm super interested in it.
Yeah, it's because Kelly Thompson is a name to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
She's rarely disappointed with any series that has ever come out.
Her Silver Coin issue was a lot of fun too. That was super great.
The only thing I haven't read from her is Deadpool for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
understandable.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't blame you.
And this whole these next 3 sections: best publication for early readers, up to age 8, and then for kids 9 to 12, teens 13 to 17. I don't feel like we're gonna know any of these. If someone wants to recommend some stuff, we'd be more than welcome to checking them out. I like reading some of these old, comics aimed at youngers.
Jin Yang's on there, so it's got to be
good.
He's on
2 of them, actually. He's in... of course, Superman Smashes the Klan, which I've heard really good things about. I actually do want to read that specific book. I'm actually going to assume that's going to win, because he's already gotten awards for it. I don't see why he wouldn't win that one there. And what is that, Dragon Hoops? I'm honestly just imagining Jake Long from American Dragon playing basketball. That's all I'm imagining in my head right now when he says Dragon Hoops.
I literally just think of Puff the Magic Dragon with sneakers on.
Okay.
Best humor publication. Oh, hey, we got Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen right over here too.
Told you.
I haven't heard of any of these.
I have no idea what
I'm just gonna say Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen.
You know what?
Make my life easy.
I'm gonna. All of these. Well, if it's Fantagraphics, Drawn Quarterly, and so Drawn Quarterly and Fantagraphics, sometimes Top Shelf and stuff like that. They do very as a kid, you don't really appreciate those comics like Love and Rockets and stuff. And now we're getting into that age to where it's just what? Some of these more adult aimed comic strips are kind of more relatable at a certain point. What T'Challa? But there's stuff I want to dive into. So anything that they put out is I want to find some cool collected editions when I have some cash and pick up Fantagraphics and Drawn Quarterly a bit more.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what I'm looking at with this list.
I probably am not interested just because I got enough.
Yeah,
He's too busy reading Joker.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Your James Tynion pile is just stacking up.
Yeah, man. I don't get everything, but yeah.
And so anthologies are always interesting because these really do get as indie as this is what Pennsylvania State University Press. Like that's how independent some of these are.
Menopause. Huh.
The comic treatment. So stuff like that sounds like fun and interesting. Hey amateur. Oh, I want to read this one. Hey amateur, go from novice to nailing at 9 panels. Shelley Bond, she was one of the Vertigo I think editors, or she ran Vertigo and whatnot. That's definitely, I feel like, the one that probably would win and what I would want to check out right away. Other than that, maybe the Fantagraphics books now.
Guantanamo Voices sticks out to me. Just the title alone tells me what I would learn from it or what kind of stories I'd get. So
ooh, that sounds fun too.
Definitely, that would be the one probably.
True
Otherwise,
from the world's most famous prison. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, just curiosity would probably be the menopause one, just because the premise idea of what I'm thinking it would be, and then I'm curious why it has one that's just called Los Angeles Times. Like, what would that be about? But
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Let's check it out. Let me Google this up. Oh, and this was edited by let me see. Oops. Search with Google. Floating World Comics. This is interesting. Looks like a lot of upcoming artists and writers. Dang, this was free at one point too. It was like 1 cent. That's
price 1 cent out of stock. Guess it did good.
That's cool. I mean, some of these like companies, that's a cool thing. If you guys just like scroll through this list and look through stuff you don't know, you'll just, there's a Duke Ellington comic, Desperate Pleasures. All this stuff looks like a lot of fun, man. Like, cool stuff, especially for like us that are trying to break into comics and like find inspiration and whatnot. Ooh, there's a Murakami. What the? All right, well, I'm gonna look into this. Yeah. So these publishers are just awesome. What's catching your attention here, Brandon?
Well, I looked up real quick that Los Angeles Times comic, and they're based in Portland, Oregon. So,
that's like the same city, right? They're like very close to each other. There's no San Francisco in between.
Yeah, but as far as these, I mean, the Hey Amateur does catch my attention, but
I think you'll like that one from what I've seen about it. I saw the Kickstarter. I never got to pledge because it was running out, but I think you'll dig it.
But as far as like choosing one, I'd probably go with that one, but I'd be at a point where I'd just randomly pick one.
Well, some fun. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned something.
Reality-based work. Okay, this is... You know what? Dragon Hoops has popped up again. We gotta...
It's about basketball.
Oh, it is about basketball.
Yeah, American Dragon, Jake Long playing basketball.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so I'm
It's
probably
a Dragon
not too
Hoops
crazy
if
about
it's
that.
got dragons. I'm just saying.
What else is on here? Big Black Stand in Attica by Frank Big Black Smith. Okay.
Why does Attica sound familiar? It sounds like a place where...
Visible Differences, Kent State. A lot of these I'm not... just going by title, of course. I'm not going to judge too quickly on any of these. But none of these are really capturing my attention. You're the Rabbit. Let's check this out. You're the Rabbit tells the story of one family's desperate struggle to survive the murderous reign of the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. In 1975, the Khmer Rouge seized power of the capital of the city, Phnom Penh. Immediately after declaring victory in the war, they set about evacuating the country's major cities with brutal ruthlessness and disregard for humanity that has characterized the regime, ultimately responsible for the deaths of 1 million citizens. Ooh, heavy stuff. Kent State, Four Dead in Ohio. Okay, so yeah, these are pretty heart-wrenching stories at this point. I don't know. This one I'd have to really do some research, but these are always good books to pick up because it is grounded in reality, like the category is. But you kind of learn some historical stuff at the same time, so it's kind of a tug or pull. A lot of us use comics as a nice little escape to like look at things differently, but this is really looking at reality differently in that sense too. So I guess I'd have to cruise through them, but Year of the Rabbit and Paying the Land sound interesting.
Yeah, and Year of the Rabbit, I mean, if it's tackling Cambodia during the 70s, majority of that era, at least in that area, when you think of that territory, was really, everything was Vietnam. So the fact that it's like telling a different story when there was a lot happening in the surrounding countries like Laos and Cambodia, it should be cool that you see a different perspective of a different area that really never got any attention at that time.
Pay the Land, Joe Sacco, I knew I recognized that name, but he's gotten a lot of praise for his work. It even says he's comparable to Art Spiegelman and R. Crumb. So that's cool. I think, yeah, those would be my picks. Do you have any opinion on any of these right off the bat, Brandon?
I put Big Black Stand at Attica in my shopping cart because it... I was reading the summary of it. It seems pretty interesting.
Is it the prison Attica or is it ancient Greece Attica? Okay.
It's the prison. It's about racial injustice in the prison.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, these are cool stuff. These are... And the artwork for this one looks really...
And it's written by him.
Oh, so he was in there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with a lot of these. This will be interesting to see who wins for sure.
Yeah.
Best graphic memoir.
Ooh, I
literally have not.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about this
anything.
one.
Yeah, we'll skip over this one. This is another one that would take some research. Nothing looks identifiable. Right. Oh wait. The loneliness and long distance. The loneliness of the long distance cartoonist by Adrian Tomine. This is a John Quarterly book that I was looking into at one point. So right off the bat, I would choose this one because it's the only one I really know about. But this is a cool book, and if you ever see it in person, dude, the design of it is beautiful. Once you open it up, it's like literally just like a notebook you would carry around to like a coffee shop or something. It's a gorgeous book, and it's all about him. So it's a cool thing. I think you guys would dig this one a lot. From what I've read and from the reviews I've seen online, it seems just like an interesting little look into the view of an artist. So that'd be my first like pick. But Craig Thompson is pretty popular too, so I'd probably choose that one as well. I love how I said I didn't know anything about any of these, and I found stuff I knew about. That's my bad.
Immediately started like looking stuff up.
I still have to do some research on some of these serious ones I'd read.
You know what? And look at this one is like you could get this online for $2 right now. Seems like cool stuff. So just looking up some of these books, you can realize how cheap and easy they are to obtain. Best graphic album. This is a new category. Okay, or new out of new stuff. Okay, never mind. Damn, I don't know any of these.
Immediately would go for Pulp.
Oh, right, yeah. Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips. It's familiar. They're a powerhouse team. The Book Tour by Andy Watson. I'm sorry. Just check that out real fast. Just get an idea of what this category is like. Upon the publication of his latest novel, G.H. Fretwell, a minor English writer, embarks on a book tour to promote it. Nothing is going according to plan. His trip gradually turns into a nightmare. But now the police want to ask him some questions about a mysterious disappearance, and it seems that Fretwell's troubles are only beginning. And he's just like he's a cartoonist, and this is his first one for adults in a long time. Cool stuff. Interesting art. I really like the line work here right off the bat, like with the cover. I bet any of these would probably be super interesting to check out. So
yeah, if it's usually nominated, it's definitely at least worth like looking into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Dragman, a novel. August Krim can fly, but only when he wears women's clothes. Soaring above gorgeous, lush vista of London, he is Dragman, catching falling persons, lost souls, and the odd stranded cat. After he is rejected by a superhero establishment where masked men chase endorsement deals rather than criminals, August quietly packs up his dress and cosmetics and returns to normalcy. A wife and a son who know nothing of his exploits or implications.
Why is
Dude,
it
that sounds
this reminds me of that Mel Gibson movie where he reads women's minds after he gets electrocuted?
Oh my
What it's
gosh.
called. But that immediately my mind went there.
It reminds me of like a Mystery Men character. I'm not gonna lie, like right off the bat. I feel like any of these would be a great pick. It's hard to choose. Just looking at the first like three, I knew like that these two and Pulp. I would love to check out any of them. So that whole list I'm down for. This might be a bit more familiar. Best Graphic Album reprint: Black Hammer Library Edition Volume 2, Criminal Deluxe Edition. That's Brubaker and Sean Phillips again. 8 Lane Runaways. I don't recognize any of these other ones though.
I would probably just once again go with Brubaker and Phillips, just because it's what I'd be interested in. Like they have so many different like noir books and stuff that are just insane, that like you'll see them go from one to the other and you're like, is this different? And they're like, yeah. And you're like, but oh, okay. I always forget because it always feels like they're like kind of doing the same thing, but really they're really the only ones in that genre. So that's why it looks that way, honestly.
I could agree with that completely. I feel like Jeff Lemire's here, and that would just probably be Brandon's pick at that point.
I actually saw the Octavia Butler adaptation, Parable of the Sorrow. I'd want to check that. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong list. Sorry. Yeah, Black Hammer.
Yeah, some of these, I'd love to check out some of these other ones, definitely. Cool stuff. Best adaptation for another medium: Constitution Illustrated, Parable of Sorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would definitely check out the Parable of the Sorrow for adaptation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because have you guys read Octavia Butler?
I have not personally.
I can't say that I have now.
She's a pretty amazing sci-fi writer, honestly. One that a lot of people don't know about, or at least don't hear about too much. But she was writing since the 70s, and I've read, I think, 2 of her books, and they're both pretty amazing. So if there's a comic adaptation, I definitely would check that out.
Sapiens: The Graphic History, The Birth of Humankind. That sounds interesting. Slaughterhouse 5. I think that'd be a cool comic, actually. Interesting. This sounds cool. A lot of like just historical aspects here, so that's cool. Oh wow, I dig the art right off the bat. I'd be pretty interested in this, honestly. Sapien, and of course we have Superman Splashes the Klan. That's cool. That's super cool. What are you feeling on this, Kamron?
I mean, I honestly I've actually been interested in Superman Smashes the Klan, so probably that one. But the Sapiens one does seem interesting, specifically, just because the idea of history. I'm always a big history person, so I would probably be into that one over the others.
I would do Sapiens and Slaughterhouse 5. I'm just interested how they would adapt that to a comic and how it would play out. So, cool book. Best U.S. edition of international material. I have no clue, guys. I have not.
I mean, these are all like translated, right?
Yeah, they're all foreign books.
So, yeah, even.
I mean, I'm open to reading them. I just don't know.
You see the. Let me look at the. Let's see. When you look,
if that's about like the actual game of Pigpog, I'll read that.
I would probably say, just looking at them, I would probably say the modern Russian folktales, just because that seems like that would be interesting. Because it's like it does what the others don't. It gives you a short explanation in the title. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. I have a general idea what this is about now. Yeah, I know what you mean here. This is a lot of stuff that totally another universe of comics that we just have not dived into.
Well, it's not easy if it's not like
It's hard enough to keep up with American comics, to be honest.
Well, it's just the accessibility, I think.
Yeah,
is just,
if it's not sold here or if it's not translated, it's kind of hard to
check that out. And this is again best U.S. edition
it.
of International Material Asia. But Ping Pong, volumes 1 and 2, I'm down for that. Spy Family,
dude.
that sounds cool. And these are whole volumes, and Viz Media is blowing up a lot too. I think they have an app you could download to check out some of these. So I would definitely look into that.
Oh, Rimina. If it's Junji Ito, I'm down.
Oh,
Who's Junji?
He does, if I remember correctly, a lot of horror. So I'm assuming that's going to be a horror book. And I'm really into.
Ooh.
I really like horror, so.
Dude, this cover off the bat, this is sick.
Yeah, I always feel like it's really hard to do horror in a comic book form. Like, you can only do so much from like paper with drawings.
This looks very like kind of. I'm not very very well versed in manga or anything, but it has like that berserk kind of like scary vibe. The way some of these pencils look.
Oh yeah.
You get a pretty good sample in it in Amazon too. So I would like to check this one out. Going with that horror aspect, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of books that are translated. I haven't gotten to much, but it's something I do want to get through down the line. Honestly,
if I get my hands on any of these, just knowing it's like international and add some culture, I'd love to check it out. Any of these, honestly. And then these are comic strips, which I don't know, guys. I feel like Calvin and Hobbes is like the extent of a lot of our comic strip.
I used to actually read like newspaper comic strips a lot. I'd read everything from Beetle Bailey, Luann, For Better or For Worse, I think was one of them. I think Boondocks was actually in there for a bit. This kid named Curtis, I forget what his was actually called. Mutts, of course, you can't not read Mutts. And then Garfield.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, like our Sunday newspaper strip is like that and Calvin Hobbes are like my knowledge of comic strips.
I used to not only do the Sunday, I'd do the weekly, man, where there was a continuous story, man.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But looking at these, I don't know what the hell any of these are. Little Debbie, I assume it's the origin of how she made all those treats you can get at stores nowadays. I really hope they talk about the Swiss roll and cosmic brownies.
Hey, you might be right.
If it's not, I'm already not interested. If it's not what I want it to be.
Oh, I recognize Little Debbie now. I've seen these before. That's a cool thing about comic strips. They're very unique, and it's really, and the storytelling in that is pretty crazy. How you could do it in like 4 or 5 panels.
I'm assuming it's like they basically restored them.
Yeah,
and these are just from the ones restored this year.
Yeah, that makes sense because this is from 60 to 61, stuff like that. Cool stuff to look into. A lot of like fun research comic book material for sure. Best archival collection project.
Art Young's Inferno, Alyssa War, Complete Quartz Maltese, Man and Superman and Other Stories. I mean, just looking at the titles, probably Court of Maltese would probably be the most appealing.
I have no idea what to choose.
Yeah, these are...
Yeah.
Again,
Atlas
these
at War.
Fantagraphics, and some of these Eurocomics / IDW, John Quarterly, these are all those very independent, kind of like, they're like sophisticated comic book presses. You know what I mean? Like, I would say so. Little Lulu, yeah, that's going back in time. Little Lulu. There's a Simpsons joke when Alan Moore and Art Spiegelman pop up in that episode. they make fun of Little Lulu for a minute. Okay, so this next little section is where we know our stuff finally. Best writer.
We finally made it after like majority of the categories.
Ed Brubaker, Pulp, Reckless, Friday, Matt Fraction, Superman's Power, Jimmy Olsen, Adventuremen, November, Sex Criminals, Jonathan Hickman, Decorum, Giant Size X-Men, Jeff Lemire, Everything, Death of Vic Savage, Cosmodog, Family Tree, Gideon Falls, Barbarian, James Tynion.
I read all those.
The list of James Tynion books, Chip Zdarsky. You know what? I'm going to go with Chip. Chip hasn't disappointed me yet.
I'm gonna say he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's probably won an Eisner before, but probably not as much as the other people on this list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say James Tynion because he writes Batman. No, I'm just kidding. Though I really do like Something Is Killing the Children. It's really fantastic. I would say, looking at all these, I'm surprised they didn't put Ascender on there for Jeff Lemire.
Right?
It was still going.
I think it's had a lot of hiccups to
I think a lot of delays,
Yeah.
or if there was delays on purpose or not. I really have been checking out X-Men with Jonathan Hickman more, so I'm probably gonna have to go with Hickman in this one.
Nice. Good pick.
Yeah, because he really is changing everything with the X-Men, with everything that's been happening. I was not expecting what we've been getting, and it just is. It's weird, but in a good way. But it's still really weird.
The fact that he could reconstruct a series that old, you know what I mean? It's brilliant. So
Yeah,
from what I've read, I enjoyed. I haven't read it in a while though.
Aren't they launching like another X-Men #1 with a different team?
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be like a new team. There was like an X-Men election thing. It was, and also I think fans could choose one of the members. I forget which one they voted for, but it's actually a really interesting team of people.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. So we got Hickman and Zdarsky as our choosers. Cool, good stuff. Best writer / artist. Ooh, let me see. We have. I'm sure this is all Brandon right here.
I did not know Gene drew. I just thought he was a writer.
Yeah, he draws a lot of his own books.
Oh.
Have you never read American Born Chinese?
No.
Oh, that's probably one of his greatest books, and he drew it as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Adrian Tomaine because that was my pick earlier. Oh, but this is the other one that.
Yeah, there we go. Junji Ito Ramina.
Junjina, yeah.
And also Venus in the Blind Spot. I think I've seen some art for that one, and that one does not. I'm sorry, I got to go with Junji Ito here.
Nice. Well, that's cool. We all have a separate pick for this one, so that's pretty interesting. Best penciler inker or penciler / inker team? Mike Allred. I mean, it's brilliant right there.
Marco Cicchetto.
Dude, his Daredevil stuff, from what I've seen, is amazing.
Phenomenal.
George, was it Corona? Middle West? I've heard good stuff about Middle West. I do love Mitch and Doc Shanner for Strange Adventures, but I don't think that's Eisner winning right now. Stanford Green, Bitterroot. I've heard good stuff about Bitterroot, but you know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm a big Allred fan, and I think his stuff is just phenomenal. Him or Marco for Daredevil. Those are my picks.
I will say, even though having like the 3 simultaneous Tom King books, the art is probably what's been making up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And just having the switch between like Mitch Jarrett and having Doc Shaner in there, especially Doc Shaner, it's just so bright and it's like Doc Shaner during all the war portions, and then Mitch Jarrett during all the like allegation portions and whatnot. Like it's been very, or I guess like past and present, has been really cool to watch or I guess read through. So I'd probably go with that team just because it's so strange the way they've been pulling that off.
What's cool about the way they've been drawing it too is that they don't read the other person's script. Like they're the other person's section of the script. They just read what they have to draw. So when they get the issue, it's kind of like a surprise for both of them at that point. So I think that's a really cool, magical way to make that comic.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it's like 2 issues left. I'm like, it's so close to finishing finally.
I know. I got to catch up on the last 2, but I'm gonna do like a run through of all of it. But it's one of those stories, you know.
Yeah.
What are your picks, Brandon?
For best penciler and inker?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Marco.
Yeah. I figured, yeah. That sounds right. Great stuff. Yeah. I can't wait to really finish reading that series.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Allred's pretty amazing, but Marco Cicchetto is like a new upcoming artist, and like he's done a few things at Marvel, but I think Daredevil is like the one thing that's like really put him on the map.
100% agree.
And for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to read Daredevil. I mean, there's a lot of Daredevil I need to read.
Well, this Zdarsky run, dude, it's a good even starting point at a certain point too. Like,
yeah, last time I was in there, like I still have to read Charles Soule run too. Like I was mainly into the Mark Waid run with Chris Samney.
I haven't checked either one of those out. Best painter, multimedia artist. So a lot of these, I don't even know any of these. I can't really give a proper
Yeah, I'm not
choice.
even gonna attempt that one.
Yeah, because I could discredit someone that just really, especially for multimedia art, there's so much cool stuff you could do with it. So I think all of these are worth checking out to at least examine it and see what they do with this type of stuff. So we'll skip over that one. Cover artist.
Bad
Jamal
list. No
Campbell.
Francesco Francavilla. Get out of here.
I don't think he does enough covers to be considered for it. I think that's the only problem. I'm gonna go right off the bat and say Ramon K. Perez, because the Stillwater covers are gorgeous, dude. Every single time I see one, and Mike Huddleston for Decorum, cool stuff. I'm just gonna go with those two right off the bat. Oh,
I don't know which ones to choose because
Dude.
I can't recall these covers at all.
Peach Momoko, dude, those covers are fucking gorgeous too. I don't know if you guys have been checking some of those out, but man, cool stuff. Peach is doing the Demon Days stuff. Have you seen that
Yes.
by Marvel coming?
Okay, that's why I know that name.
Yes.
Looking at the list, definitely Peach. Yeah. No. That
Yeah, I'll
definitely
have
Peach.
to go with that because
Yeah.
I just realized they're the ones doing the Demon Days.
And Peach has been pumping out beautiful variants all across the board for every publisher. So all that work, you know what? Yeah, Peach, hands down, Peach. Cool, good stuff for sure. Everyone else, don't know too much about. Best coloring. Coloring's hard to go with. I'm surprised Home Slice, Brad Anderson is on here.
Yeah, actually, I do want to say the Demon Day because she only does the cover for Demon Days, right? She doesn't do the actual art.
I'm not too sure. I haven't picked up Demon Days, but I think she's writing and drawing it. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I'm not too sure though. Yeah. Colorists. I love Laura Allred's but the Allreds are like a team. It's hard to, one doesn't flourish without the other, really.
Yeah, literally all three of them together is. I think it was three of them that worked on Bug, right?
No, it was just two. I think it was just Mike and Laura. I could be wrong about that. But you could be right. I think it is three of them.
I'm pretty sure there was. I can't remember, but
I've always enjoyed Dave Stewart, but
I was saying,
I really have enjoyed Matt Wilson's in Undiscovered Country specifically.
yeah, Undiscovered Country, and the coloring in Thor is gorgeous. So yeah, Matt
When
Wilson
it does
has my
say
vote.
Dave Stewart for Spider-Man, is that the J.J. Abrams Spider-Man?
I have no idea.
I have
Because
no
it's like
idea.
Spider-Man 4 and 5. That was a 5-issue limited series, so I would assume that's the one. Because I don't think there has been any other low-numbered Spider-Mans recently like that. But I think Matt
I
Wilson.
don't think so. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Matt Wilson.
Matt Wilson for mine too.
Also, Firepower. I didn't even. Firepower's on there. Yeah. Firepower.
Oh, nice.
Matt Wilson.
What was your vote, Brandon? I missed that.
For the best cover artist? No.
Best color.
Best coloring? I had no idea. I was like, I'm lost at this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's one of those things, and especially like the lettering too. It's something we're trying to pay attention to more.
Yeah, lettering, I'm like, oh yeah, like, the thing with lettering, for instance, like, a lot of the same letterers work on so many books.
Yeah,
I mean,
all their
looking at their
credits.
lists
Yeah,
of stuff. Yeah. Holy crap.
Anything? I don't know if there's anything that really stands out to me out of the titles named that the lettering has been like, oh, that,
Looking at them, gonna probably just instantly say Clayton Cowles.
I would say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Because
say
we've
Clayton
read
Cowles.
most of those books. I'll just run with that one too. At that point, you know what I mean? It's hard not to. The Batman lettering has been pretty dope too. So
Yeah.
that-
I would say out of all those, it's probably Aquaman is probably the one reason.
Beck's comics related journalism periodical. Again, I'm not too much into it, but the comics blog and comics journal have never disappointed me. They're fun stuff to check out if you guys ever look into that type of stuff.
I do not personally. That's where, yeah. I'll just take your word on whichever one you choose.
I'm a big comics journal fan, and I have like 2 boxes of like, comics journals from back in the day. It's cool stuff. I would love to share them with you guys. I think you guys would really enjoy some of the interviews and what's been said in them. Best comics related book, American Daredevil, Ditko Shrugged. Ooh, that's probably going to be mine. Or History of the EC Comics. Yeah, that's where I would go for. Ditko Shrugged. Because I've heard it's just more into Steve Ditko and his whole entire life, and it's really sad. It's one of those things.
A lot of these look like they're worth checking out, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I probably got the top one because it has Comics Communism in the battle. Yeah, I'm very curious because that could mean potentially like all the Blacklist shit from back in the day.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking witch hunt stuff.
Cool stuff. And EC Comics has always been something I like chasing down, looking into. So, yeah, good stuff to look into. Best academic scholarly work. I have no idea. I don't know any of these right off the bat.
All of it, because it's all about comics in school.
Yeah, this is all stuff that we get into. So this is again a full list of stuff of like, okay, I want to read it. Damn, all these. Who understands comics? Questioning the University of Visual Language Comprehension. That sounds fun. Comic Studies, a guidebook. Yeah, it'll be cool to see which one wins out of this one. Comic Arts and Museums, yeah.
If there was a reason as to why it would win, too.
Best publication design?
Oh, man. I've had a loss.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Oh, you know what? Original art, Dan Clowes. That's the one I know. So I'm going to go with that because Dan Clowes.
Sure.
I'm stepping back. I got no clue.
He did Black Science, didn't he? Wasn't that Dan Clowes? Am I thinking?
No.
Not Black Science. Black Hole.
Sure.
I could be wrong. Yeah. Best digital comic.
As good as mine.
Oh, digital comic. I don't know any of these.
I'd probably say Friday if it's got Ice Cube in it.
Ed Brubaker writing Ice Cube in Friday. Just day.
Chris Tucker in that? Let's go.
Prometheus 1313. I've heard about that one, but I haven't checked it out.
By Andy Diggle. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Right? Let me look this up real quick. I just want to check this out. Look at the cover. And then we're on to our last one real fast. I just want to, if this is the one I'm thinking of. Oh, it's not. All right, so I don't know, but I'll definitely check this out.
Who did the cover art for this? Is that Jock's work, or is that... I feel like I've seen that before.
Familiar.
I've seen this. We saw this at Comic-Con. That's where this was. This was at Comic-Con last year at the Comixology booth. Yes, and I was interested because of... Yeah, see, Jock's on there. If you look at the...
okay, you know what? I have a signed poster by Jock from that then.
Yeah. I'm surprised... what's that current Jock book? Is it Lemire and Jock on it?
Snow Angels.
Snow Angels.
Yeah, why isn't that on here?
It might be too new.
Not done yet.
Too new? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And if you want that poster, Kamron, let me know. I think I still have it.
Yeah. I'm like, the minute I saw that cover, I was like, wait a minute. Flashback, which I would say that should say something because that like left an imprint in my head from 2019 summer 2019 is somehow I remember that cover instantly.
That poster's like a bright red too.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of. Okay, so it is the one I was thinking of. I just didn't recognize it off the bat. And then finally, best webcomic. Again, I don't know about any of these, but we have links to all of them, so it'll just be fun checking them out.
Yeah. I mean, if they're short or if I'm able to read them all, like, that's the thing how I feel about the Eisners. I'm like, okay, maybe I should just read everything on here that I haven't read.
Right? Yeah.
That's a lot.
It kind of sets you up with a new reading list, but it's supposedly the best of the best, and as creators and people that study the craft, it's probably a good thing to check it out and see why it's on the list.
And the Eisners always remind me of how I don't read a lot apparently.
Yeah, I mean the Eisners are they just remind you how big that whole medium is, and it's like it's not it's not realistic to be like I can do everything, but it's like it's already hard enough being like going through just between like DC, Marvel, and Image Comics and being like, oh, I want to read these, but I can't even do this, and it's like this just broadly expands it so much so where you're like, dude, you're just on. That whole thing is one planet in this whole galaxy of a medium, which makes things even more daunting, if anything. So,
100%.
I think these get released at the end of the month, so maybe one of our episodes would do a quick recap or just a short video seeing any of our choices made it and whatnot, and check out what did win. Cool stuff. Interesting. I've never really examined the Eisner nominations too often before, so it's something I want to try keeping up with, just as you want to keep an eye on upcoming artists and creators and the books that independents are doing right now. So also, if you're trying to get published, you kind of have to study what these publishers are looking for as well. A lot of cool stuff. We'll check it out, and not having a Comic-Con where the Eisners are released is going to be weird, because typically it's like the Saturday night before Comic-Con ends.
Isn't it virtual this year, right?
Yeah, it's virtual for San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Thanksgiving Con.
Yeah, the
Thanksgiving Con, y'all.
Yeah. Oh,
time
boy.
to travel in the middle of the holidays.
Yeah. Fuck that. But, well, that's our list. Those are our choices. We'll see who wins, who loses. And you know what? We have a lot of new reading material to look into, because there's a lot of interesting stuff on there. Any final words, gentlemen?
I should just read more.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel ashamed.
I should read what I have.
And congratulations to everyone that was nominated.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. I mean, yeah, great stuff.
Must be a big deal for you.
It's good, like, even when you're just like glancing at books, to be like, I wonder who's gonna beat out who. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. They all look like phenomenal reads. But check it out, Kamron. Give us a quick plug.
Yeah, you can find me at Sutro Sidetalk, channel with 4 podcasts. We got the Sutro Sidetalk show itself, where my co-host James and I talk about weekly gaming, movie, TV news, as well as what we've been watching and playing. We got Sutro Side Watch, where actually Brandon Blocksdorf and I talk about... What?
Number 1.
Yeah. Talk about a specific film, usually every other week. We just finished our Bond month of June, and we're about to dive into Tarantino Rodriguez in July. It should be fun.
Yeah.
And then we got The Cut of Steel, which we just recently came out with our Shazam episode 8. Mm-hmm. But we have everything that has come out before that. That's all the DCU movies, and we'll be back again in August for the Suicide Squad film.
Yes.
And then Up to It, Down to It, which actually is... when is this episode coming out?
This week.
This Friday, we will have our episode on Dungeons and Dragons. And it's going to be really fun, just talking about what got us into D&D, what stories we got about it. Just it's a really fun episode.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that one as a new D&D player this year. It's been extraordinary.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of fun shit, I think, that might have you be like, oh, why are we doing this? But you'll see some good stuff there. But of course, you can catch it on any podcast platform under Sutro Sidetalk, as well as on Twitter and Instagram at Sutro Sidetalk.
Nice. And keep up with Apollo. We have a bunch of cool interviews coming your way this month, and taking a little break from the interviews for this episode, but can't wait to see who we have on next. A lot of cool stuff. So hang out with Brandon and I. And guys, thanks for hanging.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.